by readers of the Albuquerque Journal. We're also your exclusive provider for top home improvement brands like Renewal by Anderson, Four Seasons, Blaze King, and many others. Founded and headquartered in Albuquerque, Dreamstyle Remodeling is family owned and now employs more than 500 people across the southwestern U.S. In fact, we've helped more than 60,000 homeowners improve their home in New Mexico, Arizona, California, Idaho, and West Texas. We're committed to providing a superior customer experience. We've earned 4.6 stars with hundreds of online reviews and have an A+ with the BBB. Dreamstyle Remodeling is a proud supporter of UNM Athletics. Visit our beautiful 10,000 square foot showroom at 1460 Renaissance Boulevard across from Sam's Club or dreamstyleremodeling.com to make your home remodeling dreams come true.
The world-famous Laguna Burger is beautifully handcrafted. A burger that's created from certified Angus beef, sinfully cooked to juicy perfection, and garnished with New Mexico's Hatch green chili. Tempt your taste buds with mouth-watering fresh ingredients.
Cut! We're gonna need another Laguna Burger. Try the irresistible world-famous Laguna Burger. Visit thelagunaburger.com. It's fresh with a kick. Take 32.
Hey, welcome to the Steve Davis Show. Special guest today is Gary Tripp, running for the District 44 House of Representatives.
Yes, District 44, New Mexico House of Representatives, Steve.
You know, you had me on. This is going to be a monthly show, so this is our second, I guess, our second episode toward the next year, December. We'll be
November.
November.
Yep.
We're going to be voting, and we touched on, I think. The last show was the main thing when we talked about everybody has visions, but follow through the vision is something that Gary Tripp does. And last time we talked about the New Mexico Foundation and all the scholarships and and the money that we raised. And I think you said you kind of surprised me with the money that's in the account now. And I don't know how, I'm thinking this is something that we've done for 10 years or 11 years now. I want to say 11, probably 11 years.
11 years. Wow.
And you probably, I'm thinking the scholarships that we've given over the last 11 or 12 years is all because of your idea and also your, following it through to make it happen and starting small and with the big picture in mind, and I want to thank you for getting me involved because we've really done a lot for the people that were unfortunate enough not to be able to get a scholarship, and the letters you've received and the things that wouldn't, you got to feel special about that.
Well, it's an honor because it's all about we. You're a Clovis guy. I'm a Vegas guy. Bud Mocock back then was an Artesia guy. We had Albuquerque guys. We had New Mexicans coming together with a vision. Now we've given over, thousands and thousands of scholarships from almost every school district in the state of New Mexico over the last 11 years. Who would have ever imagined video streaming and our troops being able to see games overseas and activities and events? And so thank you. It's a kind of the we New Mexican, we common folk, some people may call us, but we've got good vision and we're going to do everything possible to move our fellow New Mexicans forward. So right back at you. Thank you.
So today, I think we want to really touch on the foundation was just it's still in existence. It's very strong with without your leadership. You're still involved, but it's moved.
It's always the good NMAA people that help, and then a great
Dusty
board.
Young has really taken really great charge of that. And,
he certainly has.
And you made my memory. Mark Hosky was
Mark Hosky.
and he's moved up to the NFHS foundation. The NFHS. So
he's a big
executive
guy.
director, right?
Yeah,
so,
he's a big guy. He's in charge of soccer, high school soccer in the nation. You know, and but Mark wrote the foundational papers for the 501c3. Of course, at the direction of a lot of us 7 or 8 people around that table. But yeah, Mark was a great guy. Robert Zayas, you know, was part of that. You and I and Bud Mocock and a lot of people may not know this, but the NMA Foundation, we had Diane Denish, you know, on our team, and we had just a small group of quality people, you know. You and Mario Martinez getting in your little arguments, but you guys were both in love with kids in New Mexico, and that was why you guys were good friends too, you know.
Well, you know, it was. I learned a lot. I grew up a lot because I've been in the private sector, and most of the people I was dealing with was in the educational system, and there's two philosophical differences on how things work, and that's something I think I helped you with on, you know, from
the educational world,
right? Yeah. And just seeing the viewpoint of what people thought on the outside, because, you know. And the more I think about, you know, it's like I said, I grew up because education has tunnel vision, and the reason I say tunnel vision is because that's who you're with every day. You have that, you know, that fine people that every day you deal with education. Myself, I was dealing with the business people and thinking, you know, on the terms of really bottom line on dollars.
Yep.
I mean, whereas...
And how do we create capital gain?
Right, and whereas education is about how do we do for the students, and how do we administrate and do the best with facilities and those things to get the best for our students.
Yeah, we look down the road at the final product, you know, in educationally. So while they're in school, what all can we do within a comprehensive school setting to move that kid forward? You know, and then the foundation was about, from an educational world, how do we help them become a productive citizen by advancing them, you know, and then we look at the capital world, you know, the private world, and say, okay, we don't know anything about money. How do you help us get there so these kids can move forward to have that kind of life like we have had, you know? So I really appreciate the team effort that we had there with you, and, you know, and Paul from U.S. Bank, you know, now I'm drawing a blank, and Paul's going to probably get mad at me, but I can't remember his name.
And you know what? And I want to say, I want to, but I don't want to butcher it right now. So
yeah, okay.
But we're going to come back. We're going to come back. We're going to go to the Dream Style Top 10 Plays of the Week, and then we're going to come back and talk about your next vision about streaming, and we'll let people understand how it started and what it has happened since that time.
Yeah.
Call it as Javi's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's gonna walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. First and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, and Chavez stops.
And Stevens in motion. On the handoff to Mitchell. Look out! Oh, see you later. Take it to the house. Fly, Cardinals fly. To the other side, provides some protection. And off to Webskowski again. Look out! See you later. Good night. Touchdown, Webskowski. An 8. To the other side, provides some protection. And off to Webskowski again. Look out! See you later. Good night. Touchdown, Webskowski. An 8. 2 receivers at the top. Harris has all day. He's going to fire fire to the end zone. Open man, touchdown, Wildcats. Not a defender inside.
A little bit.
Kowski on the sideline. Hasta mañana. He's off to the races. Touchdown, Clovis.
Albuquerque this afternoon.
34-24. Rancho late in the third. How about this run? Nice play. Dickerman. He's still on his feet. Touchdown, Wolverine.
Exactly what they want to get yards.
He's going to go for it. He's got a guy towards the end zone. It's Krebs. Touchdown. What a play.
And long here for the Storm. Handoff to, we're going to fake the handoff, excuse me. Davidson on the deep ball. He's got some space, and it's caught. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Storm. Wow. Santa Maria.
And so they'll send one deep and returnable at the 2. Usually Volcano do either a reverse or a fake reverse, and here it is a reverse. And a move to the outside. There is a lane. Look out! Shot out of a cannon. Rodriguez is going to take it all the way.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
Hey, welcome back to the Steve Davis Show. We have Gary Tripp running for the state representative for District 44. And for people that don't know that, Corrales and Rio Rancho would probably be an easy way to say that.
Yeah, and just a touch of Bernalillo, but an important part of Bernalillo. So the far west side, yes.
Well, Gary, we talked about the foundation, which was something that's how we met, almost 12, 13 years ago today, and then there was, enlighten me on the streaming, because it was something that I got involved with later. But what was your vision with that when you first? I guess how was it introduced to you? I guess that's the question. So
streaming was introduced as something we can do. It was a pretty new concept in the country, and when we first did it, there was a lot of hit and misses about it. But the whole vision around the streaming was the fact that there's going to be grandparents, or there's going to be people in the community that cannot go to the game, but they still want to see their nephew or their niece or their grandchild play in that game. And that's kind of one of the things about video streaming. The other concept on video streaming, or the other vision, I should say, about video streaming was we had a lot of our graduates from every high school in this state that many of them who serve our country. So the whole vision was, wouldn't it be nice if they're out serving our country in Afghanistan or Iraq or so forth? Wouldn't it be a treat for them to watch their cousin back in the pit during the state basketball tournament, or swim at the state swim meet, or stuff like that? And so when actually under your leadership, when video streaming actually truly did happen on a consistent quality basis. I still remember to this day, I was at the state basketball tournament. St. Pius was playing, and the fact of the matter was we had a person from the military who had graduated from St. Pius, who was serving in Afghanistan, who had just watched his cousin play in the state basketball tournament. And he says, you know, Mr. Tripp, it brings tears to my eyes. I just saw St. Pius participate. I'm a graduate of St. Pius, and it was like the vision coming true. You know, what you wanted to do was, how could you actually do something productive for those that are giving their ultimate service to our country? And then I still remember when it, again, under your leadership, when it became quality. I remember being in Eunice, New Mexico, and one fall, I was talking to the girls' volleyball team. And I might have shared this story before, but it was so nice. I had about 10 girls and the coach on the gym floor, and drove up to Eunice, and I said, okay, this is what we want you to do. When you go to Texaco on Saturday night, I want you, before you leave, to show your grandma that can't be there what to press on the computer, so then she could watch your game in Texaco and watch you beat the Texaco Wolverines, you know, giving them a pep talk. And I still remember this one girl raised her hand in the Eunice gym. She was a junior in high school, and she said, you know what, Mr. Tripp, we've never beaten Texaco. You know, all the girls started laughing and everything. It was great. We were talking about video streaming and how nice it was for people back home to watch. And she just had a big crack up, but it just made it feel like a New Mexican thing. And we were the leaders in the country, Steve. I don't know if, well, I know you know that, but I don't know if people realize that we were the leaders in the country. I was the one that was bragging about it, but getting all these compliments from other executive directors all across the country when I would go to my national meetings. You know, you always hear New Mexico's 100 years behind.
Or the
we
50th
were the leaders.
in the state. You know,
or the 50th in the state.
Or 49th or whatever. Whatever.
And here we were the informational technology leaders in the country. I mean, and it's just, I mean, it brings chills to me because of the fact that our kids are being honored more so than any other kids in their state. And executive directors, the Wyoming director coming to the state basketball tournament, and other directors coming down to the state track meet, or whatever the case might be, or sending their staff down because they wanted the great things that New Mexico were doing. And it's the fact of putting our kids, our great kids, I should say, as a showcase in all over the world was a really neat thing. It was a great thing, actually.
Well, since for whatever reason you asked me to be the leader of it, to this day I don't know why you asked me to do it, but a guy that can't even use a computer have any skill sets, and all my employees know that too.
Well, for whatever reason, I don't have them either, but we had the right chemistry. We had people like Mark Koski and Robert Zayas and people back then, and you and I and JD, and I mean, it was a matter of a handful of people coming together and making it work right, and having a passion about it. And I think that was the main
word
thing.
is passion, and I think that's one of the longevities of what happened here. And I just would make a little comment before we go to break is, you know, since this will be the 13th year, I think, of ProView Network, 12th to 13th year of ProView Networks, and you know, we're in 50 states, almost 130 countries, and millions and millions of people have watched the state tournaments and watched ProView Networks.
What I appreciate is you, your staff, a lot of New Mexicans wanting to make this work. Nobody has gotten rich, and I know that, and I know sometimes you've had to take money out of your own pocket just to keep the company afloat. The NMAA didn't make any money. That wasn't the purpose of anything. I'm hoping that ProView does way better in the future, because people have a right to have a standard of professionalism with income, but all this so far in 13 years has been for the good of the state of New Mexico and the good of students, and kind of that makes you an educator, buddy.
Well, we're going to go to a break, and we'll come talk more about you and your quest to become the representative of District 44.
Serve my people. Thank you.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network. Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
Hey, welcome back to Steve Davis Show. We have Gary Tripp running for District 44 for the state representatives, and you know, we were talking about streaming, and you know, you look at, you know, what it's done for the MMA, but also for what it's done for the community. I mean, you know, I take a lot of pride in to see that where it's gone from, you know, basically it had so many issues, and one was just because of the internet didn't work. I mean, there was a lot of, you know, we were talking about the good positive, but there was some stuff, you know, and I knew
there were hiccups.
I knew that you and we were onto something when, because I you know, I think my mom says it best, that I just don't accept the word no. I might to your face, but over years I'm going to wear you down. Eventually get what I said 10 years ago. And basically to see it evolve into where it is today, I'll be personally honest, I had no idea that it was going to get, I knew it was big, but when we were having the problems with the internet buffering, you know, if you remember, I don't think we even had a scoreboard. I mean, I'm just thinking you know, we didn't have a clock. We didn't have, you know, and I could hear, I just remember hearing all these things.
The feed went down,
And at that time, the computers were all set. I mean, you had to have a certain computer for it to work. And I think the Mac didn't work, and people were probably sending you guys emails, sending everybody emails, and you're like, what did we get ourselves into? And I just remember telling you, I said, look, the positive thing about this is people are watching it.
Yeah.
If we can perfect it, it's just going to get better and better. But I mean, it had its issues, and I still remember going to the games and people saying, why are you here? You know, what are you doing here? I mean, this ain't going to happen, and it's, you know, 13 years later, and
it's a good thing. You know, Steve, when it comes to your story about your mom, it reminds me of another story I heard about you. And actually, he's one of your best friends in life, and it's from Randy Adrian. And he always, we'd be on the road at the NMA, and when we talk about you, he would say, you know, about one thing about Steve growing up? I said, no, what was that? And he said, he had a basketball in his hand. I think he slept with it, he said. I didn't sleep with him, but I think he slept with it because he had it in class, he had it down the hall, he had it outside. He always had a basketball with him. And just like not taking the no, you perfected the game of basketball at a high level for yourself, being a UNM Lobo and doing well, but you perfected your craft, and that's the same thing you've done here. And it's kind of the same thing I want to do with the New Mexico House of Representatives. I mean, I'm an educator, so it's no rocket scientist to say I want to do more for education, and I don't want to retire. I want to make this my full-time job. You know, Gary Herron from the Rio Rancho Observer always gives me a hard time about I'm like Brett Favre, I always retire. I'm not retiring. I would really like to service the people of this state to the best of my ability. I got to eventually. Yeah. So I'm running on the platform. You know, I have some things in education that I think are little tweaks that I think could go a long ways in improving education for our children. I have some really strong ideas in public safety because the Columbine incident, you know, 20 years ago or 23 years ago, maybe it hasn't been that long, maybe more like 17, excuse me. I've had school safety and safety of the public on my mind, and infrastructure, the job of government, you know, to make sure our senior citizen buildings, our roads, our internet access. I mean, to me, infrastructure is not a fancy word, you know, I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus with it, but that's who I am. I'm going to try to do my best to help improve education. I'm going to try to do my best to improve public safety and us all getting along as human beings better. And I'm going to try to do my best in the area of the taxes that the government receives, you know, and I really think the state of New Mexico legislature does a good job, but I'm going to do my best to really be diligent about the infrastructure needs and where our taxpayer dollars need to go, right back in New Mexico, right back into quality infrastructure improvements in the state of New Mexico. So it's not rocket science, you know. I'm not an engineer. You know, I'm a quality common person from Highlands University that Rio Rancho has blessed as a citizen for 20 years, and I'm going to try to do my best in those three areas for that community of Rio Rancho, Corrales, and Bernalillo. I'm going to do my utmost best for them, you know.
Well, you retire again here at the end of the month, say the next 14 or 15 days, if I'm correct. And how are you going to hit the campaign road? I mean, that's you know, I'm gonna go to the championship game with not Storm colors and not Ram colors, even though I was the principal at Rio Rancho High School, but there was no Storm when I was the principal. I'm going to go to the game a few hours early and display my banner and just remind everybody that I'm running. That's one of the first things I'm going to do early this Saturday. And then another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get a hold of as many Rio Rancho and Moriarty graduates, people that have actually coached, taught, or been a principal, and see if they would join me one day during the Christmas break and take a picture endorsing me if they wouldn't mind, if they're in the area. I've had a lot of people, a lot of ex-students from Moriarty and a lot of ex-students from Rio Rancho start contacting me, and it's kind of the humbling part of this whole experience. There's a lot of great people in this world. Well, Gary, we're coming to an end, and we're going to meet next month, and we're going to talk more of your accomplishments and how the campaign is going.
That sounds great. Thank you. Thanks, ProView. Thank you, Steve. Thanks for having me, and I'll be back.